All hell is breaking loose as Russia has entered Donald Trump's war against Iran in a big way. Russia ain't hiding the fact that it has been sending drones to Iran along with satellite imagery, targeting data and intelligence support that has been crippling to the United States. Vladimir Putin, Lavrov, Yusakov, and Dmitriev, the crew that keeps on meeting with Witoff and Kushner. They keep getting more concessions out of the United States. They're out there bragging and boasting that the United States military bases throughout the Middle East have been obliterated. You want to use the word obliterated, Donald? The New York Times reports Iran wrecked America's Gulf bases, Kuwait gutted with collapsed roofs and smashed radar. 17 US sites have been hit in the Middle East region, $800 million or more in damage in weeks. Our troops have basically abandoned all of the American military bases in the Middle East. May I repeat that? Our troops have abandoned basically all of the military bases in the Middle East, and now they are working remotely from hotels, while Iran is utilizing a spy network to try to find which hotels us troops are at, to target those hotels. As Anthony Scaramucci writes, a forever basing empire is a $1 trillion liability. Time for a lean navy over the horizon posture before the next war bleeds us dry. The next war, Anthony, how about this right here? I mean, I'll throw up this B-roll right here. You want to see how they are developing the military of the future in China with these drone swarms. You see, unlike the United States that has continued to build these outdated THAAD and Patriot systems, which we forced on and pushed on the Middle East allies and others, these drone swarms and the drone interceptors, that's how wars are fought now in 2026, have been perfected by China, and China has been boasting and bragging throughout this entire week by showing these videos about just how successful their preparedness is for the battle of the future. Just take a look at this New York Times article, though, about how successful Russia has been at transferring this data to Iran to target these American bases while Donald Trump continues to be a Putin bootlicker publicly. Now, the New York Times doesn't say, oh, well, Russia gave these coordinates. Just put together the Financial Times story about Russia just announcing that it's doing this. And the New York Times story, and it's obvious what is taking place right here. Just take a look right here at what the New York Times article says. Many of the 13 military bases in the region used by American troops are all but uninhabitable. Iran has bombed US bases across the Middle East in retaliation for the US-Israeli war, forcing many American troops to relocate to hotels and office bases throughout the region, according to military personnel and American officials. By the way, this is leaking out because our commanders, our military leaders in the Middle East are trying to send messages back home for us to hear them what a freaking disaster this war is. We hear you. We know the message you're trying to send. That's why we're making a video about it right here, to educate the people how Donald Trump has thrown you all under the bus. And now you're all in hiding in hotels. Should be a pretty big story, right? And all our military bases are abandoned right now, and our soldiers and troops are hiding in hotels. So now much of the land-based military is in essence fighting the war while working remotely, with the exception of fighter pilots and crews operating and maintaining war plans and conducting strikes. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has urged people to report these new locations as it hunts for the dispersed troops, U.S. military. Officials say that the threat is not stopping the Pentagon from carrying out the war against Iran, which is in its fourth week. Many of the 13 military bases in the region used by American troops are all but uninhabitable, with the ones in Kuwait, which is next door to Iran, suffering perhaps the most damage. 6 US service members were killed in a strike on Port Shawaba that destroyed an Army Tactical Operations Center. Iranian drones and missiles also targeted the Ali al-Salam Air Base, damaging aircraft structure and injuring personnel at Camp Buring, damaging maintenance and fuel facilities. In Qatar, Iran struck the eluded air base, the regional air headquarters of U.S. Central Command, damaging an early warning radar system in Bahrain. A one-way Iranian attack drone struck communications equipment at the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Iranian missiles and drones damaged communications equipment and several refueling tankers. And folks, this data, these strike targets, these resources are coming from Russia. By the way, you know who was saying it? The foreign minister of Iran 3 weeks ago, Iraqi. He was asked, remember I showed you the clip, who is helping you, China and Russia? You sure? Yes, what are they doing militarily, economically, politically? He said, the guy said it out loud. I appreciate that the Financial Times is reporting about it now, but D said it 3 weeks ago. That's what I was talking about here. So according to the Financial Times, citing officials briefed on the matter, Russia is sending these phased shipment of drones, medicine and food to Iran. The deliveries began early March. They're continuing to right now. As John M. Lahr explains, this is notable because earlier yesterday news broke that Israel struck a key node for the Russo-Iranian trade networks, the Bandar Anzali port on the Caspian Sea. Striking C2 hubs, warships, and shipyard infrastructure addition, by the way. Take a look at the map, though. Where the Caspian Sea is, you'll see it's like right there between Iran and Russia. So it's right, we've been focusing on the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, right? You go a little bit more west, and that's where you have the Red Sea. But you go a little bit more north, and you have the Caspian Sea right there, right? And that's that sea essentially connecting Iran with Russia. So in the past 24 hours, we saw Israel striking ships in the Caspian Sea. Why? Because Russia has been giving Iran all of these weapons. I believe China has been as well, but I think there's a more reluctance to strike at China right now. So when I say the world is literally in a war right now, whether you choose to call that a world war or not, can we observe what is actually happening? I'll give you more data points on that as well. Additionally, to those who think that Russia sending drones back to Iran is foolish due to Iran being the original producer of the Shahed drones, wrong. Russia has onshored production for much of its Shahed supply during the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian war, and such measures have allowed them to produce and field Shaheds at a massive scale. So you know how, like car companies, right? Like Japanese car companies, right? They have factories in the United States. There are Toyota plants and Hyundai plants, right? There are Shahed drone plants in Russia where they manufacture these. So when the US is striking these Shahed drone plants, say in Iran, they're being brought over through the Caspian Sea from Russia to Iran, and also Iran keeps a lot of its Shaheds underground in these structures that almost look like super malls, but they're underground, and that's where Iran keeps its ballistic missiles and Shahed drones. So it's just worth mentioning that as well. Meanwhile, in the past 24 hours, President Zelensky, who courageously, heroically, and against all odds, continues a strong counter-offensive against Russia, keeping Ukraine safe. They've developed such incredible drone interceptor technology in Ukraine. Their own proprietary stuff, drone interceptors, use drones to intercept drones. They also have this like netting systems. It's really complex and complicated. They have the intellectual know-how to work these radars against shades and ballistic missiles better than anyone else. Zelensky states Russia sought to blackmail the US, offering to stop sharing military intelligence with Iran if Washington cut off Ukraine. Zelensky confirms, I have reports from our intelligence services showing Russia is doing just that. Yet Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and the Trump regime continue to reward Russia at every turn. Witkoff and Kushner are reportedly meeting with Yusakov and Dmitry. Donald Trump blames Zelensky, not Putin, for Putin's war against Ukraine. His regime removed sanctions from Russian oil, allowing Russia to make billions and revive its teetering economy. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online, crucial when surveillance and data breaches are common. With an active online presence, privacy is vital. So much personal information floats around out there. Your name, contact info, home address, even family details can be compiled and sold by data brokers. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. That's why I love Delete Me. Their team removes your data from hundreds of broker websites, protecting you from identity theft, phishing, and harassment. They're highly trusted. The New York Times Wirecutter named Delete Me their top pick for data removal services. Take control of your data and keep your private life private. Sign up for Delateam now at a special discount. Get 20% off your Delateam plan at joindeleteme.com/Meidas with promo code Meidas at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Meidas. Code Meidas, MIDAS. J.D. Vance was sent by Donald Trump to Hungary April 7th and 8th to prop up Viktor Orban. Orban, a right-wing authoritarian and Putin puppet, aims to destroy the European Union. Hungary's elections are set for April 12th. Vance is making the final pitch for Putin's guy. Polling shows the pro-democracy Tisza party beating Orban's Fidesz party. If Orban tries to steal this, it'll be Euromaidan on steroids in an EU NATO country. Watch closely. Tisza party has widened its lead over Orban's Fidesz to 23 points among decided voters. Orban and Putin will pull some stunt, similar to what Trump might try in the midterms. Focus on these international repercussions. Our military bases in the Middle East have been obliterated with Russia's help to Iran. We're out there helping Russia. Do we see the damage Russia has inflicted? We've been eviscerated. Russia mocks Trump's social media posts. RT, Russia's propaganda, posted White House mistakenly posts nuke launching soon. They're mocking Trump because his White House posted a cryptic video. This is a real post on Instagram and X. Here's this other strange video posted by the White House that Russia was calling out, saying, "What the F is this? It's launching soon, right? What are we doing? What the hell is going on with our country? Who are these people running our country? They're running it into the ground. Yesterday, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution on the enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. 123 countries voted in favor. But the US, Israel, and Argentina were the only countries that voted against it. Us, Israel, and Argentina voted against the idea that enslavement of Africans was the gravest crime against humanity. The US military base in Haril, Iraq, constantly under attack, as are US embassies there. The US has been striking Shiite militia groups in Iraq, closely linked to the government and Iraqi army. Islamic resistance groups are part of these militias, attached to the Iraqi army, a complex tapestry of sectarian violence. Any straw that breaks the camel's back can lead to all-out war, all hell breaking loose. The Islamic resistance in Iraq is carrying out multiple operations against US bases using dozens of drones. This follows the US killing 7 Iraqi soldiers and wounding 13 at a military clinic. The US also killed 15 PEMP fighters, including Commander Saad al-Balji, 80 security personnel killed, 150 wounded. This was taking place during a ceasefire. You'll see this video, Iraqi militias firing at the US. There's a war. In Iraq again, war in Iran, war in the Caspian Sea, Putin's invaded Ukraine. War in Lebanon, Israel invaded Lebanon, destroyed southern Beirut, blew up hospitals. They said they're targeting Hezbollah, but they're killing lots of innocent people there. It's important to reflect on what's happening internationally. A joint statement from CAA, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan. They condemn Iranian attacks and call on the Iraqi government to stop militias attacking their countries. It's a direct message to Iraq to take responsibility for its militias, but Iraq authorized its militias to attack American bases. Now these other countries say, Iraq, control your militias, and Iraq says, no, America hit them. They can hit back. So now you have Iran and Iraq against Saudi Arabia. It's a mess. You see what's happening. It's important to talk about these things, not to mention the ground invasion planned on the Car Island by the United States. Many predict mass casualties, mass slaughter of US troops if we send this ground invasion. It will be brutal and bloody. I hope that doesn't happen, but we're moving closer to that ground invasion. Meanwhile, look at France. France is holding a video conference with its army chiefs to create its own alliances. They want to deal with the Strait of Hormuz on its own, without the United States. No one views the United States as reliable anymore. Think about the cruelty of the United States. US makes life-saving HIV treatment conditional to access Zambia's minerals. The Trump administration negotiated a deal tying HIV funding for 1 million people to critical minerals, linking survival to geopolitical leverage. More than 500 service stations across Australia's 2 largest states ran out of gas. The Hormuz closure fuel crisis worsens. Roughly 13% of stations in New South Wales ran out of diesel. Everywhere, the US is causing pain and suffering. Taiwan's about to run out of liquefied natural gas. We removed the THAAD and Patriot systems from South Korea. We've taken troops out of Japan. It's been the biggest betrayal of America to the world. The weakest America's ever been in its history. The world is horrified at the US, horrified. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million. Thanks for watching. I know these are very detailed, and there's a lot I pack into these videos, but it's important that we know what's going on. Okay, hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast for new updates every single day.